Buongiorno to all the urbanists out there. Let's go on a rainy day walk. Right now, I just came out of Trattoria Rosso Marino, and this is a wonderful trattoria right here in the center of Genoa. And let me know where we're watching from. It is raining like crazy here in Genoa, and I highly recommend this place. It's great slow food made with local seafood, local bites, and local vegetables, everything local. It's really, really good. This is the beauty of Italian cuisine. And I will be posting it on my Instagram stories. So if you really like food and want food recommendations, do follow me on Instagram, Urbanist Live. And there you can find some food recommendations from all the places I visit. And also other recommendations like museums and attractions. But let's walk around in beautiful Genoa in the rain. Whew, it's raining like crazy. And the restaurant Los Marino is right by Piazza de Ferrari, right here, right by the stop, the metro stop. And oh my, it is raining like crazy here in Genoa. Camila says it would have been fun to see you in Monterosso. Monterosso was amazing. I'm glad to see that. There's a few Ligurian locals that tune into my broadcast, like you, Camilla. Been tuning in for a while. Hey, our man Volterra says, enjoy Genoa. I am enjoying Genoa. It is raining like crazy. It's a bit hard to enjoy Genoa. Well, it's a bit hard to enjoy any city when it's raining like crazy. But Genoa luckily has a lot of museums, which I haven't had the pleasure of going to. I know there's a lot. I might go to one after this broadcast, actually. But before I venture out into other attractions, I wanted to go on a live video and show you a nice rainy day walk. The fun thing to do in Italy when it's raining a lot, and I've been catching almost all rain in almost all my destinations, with the exception of Tuscany. All my other destinations have been rained out. Milan, Lake Como, Verona, Genoa, and I am not too optimistic about my next destination either in terms of rain. But one of the best things to do when it's rainy in Italy is enjoy some good food. Yeah, quite seriously. You know, I don't want you to come over here thinking that people are overrating the food. That the food, sure, it's Italian food, you can have good food anywhere. The food experience in Italy is truly amongst the most unique you will have in the world. I've been to so many countries in Europe and North America, and I have not found a country that equals to the amazing food and its variety and its freshness and its deliciousness, and also in its experience as in Italy. So when you come over here to this country, do come prepared to eat some good food on a daily basis. Do budget for it. You don't need to budget like crazy, especially if you're used to New York prices or London prices or Canadian prices. But do have a budget for it, because it is worth indulging in all the variety of cuisines here in Italy, rain or shine. And you will have some of the best food in your life over and over again. Especially if you're traveling throughout Italy, you will see the variety of food that's offered in this country. So don't be afraid to try new dishes, even if you don't quite understand what they are. Don't be afraid of trying new ingredients, new styles of cooking if you are not comfortable with it. consider giving it a try. And also consider indulging in the wine as well, because there's so much beauty here in Italy. And consider getting in tune with the Italian way of eating and dining. So dine at the hours that most of the restaurants are open, which is lunchtime between noon and 2 to 2:30, and dinner time, which is between the hours of 7 or so, or 7:30 to about 10. That's my top recommendation. Let's walk around. Hey, Alman Volterra says, entertain and astound me while I work. Hey, Alman Volterra. My pleasure, man. I'm so happy I can entertain and astound. There we go. Astound while you work. Thank you so much for the €12 super chat. Appreciate that. So one hard thing about when it comes to live streaming food, I've encountered over and over again bad cell phone reception inside these places. So I haven't been able to do like a quick food live stream yet. But maybe soon. Maybe before I finish my Italy trip. Hey, Bob says it's also rainy in Cornwall. Camilla says, yeah, October weather is risky. Yeah, you know, I came here in October, I was expecting sunshine. I was expecting sunnier and warmer weather than New York, because New York can get rather rainy and cold. But no, it has been very rainy here in Italy this entire time, with the exception of my stop in Arezzo and Orvieto. You tried the focaccia, says Di Recco at the bakery. So Camilla is asking about the focaccia. I haven't been able to video this yet. I tried one focaccia on the live stream 2 days ago here in Genoa. But yes, the focaccia here is on another level. Now, I was eating focaccia nearby at a place that was well rated. And I sat down in one of the public squares around here, just like this one, dining, eating my focaccia outdoors. Just a plain focaccia. And an older lady, maybe like late 70s, came walking to me in Italian saying, oh, the focaccia is good. She was speaking Italian, but I can make out the words because she spoke luckily slowly enough for me to understand. And she was like, oh, is the focaccia good? I'm like, yeah, it's very good. And she was like, yeah, the focaccia is always good here, but do try it with the pesto. And I was like, yeah, of course. I thought she meant try the focaccia already topped with pesto and cheese, like you would find in the focaccierias, the bread bakers here in Genoa. But she proceeded to tell me, no, buy yourself some pesto. Make sure it's not too neon green. Get yourself a good light green pesto. And I didn't quite know what she meant. I kept walking after eating this focaccia, and I bumped into a specialty pesto store where you can buy pesto by the jar. And I decided to buy a small little pesto jar, and I went to other famous focacceria that the focaccia, the bread, came fresh out of the oven, and I combined this pesto that had to be refrigerated. So either you had to eat it immediately or put it in the refrigerator immediately, because pesto is very volatile. If they say that you can buy pesto and not refrigerate it, it's probably not that good. So I combined this pesto and this focaccia, and oh my, it blew me away. I did not think some bread and some basil sauce can actually taste that good, but it does. And definitely do give it a try. 100%. Let's see if we can pass by this pesto shop and focacceria. Maybe I can show you. Murphy says, I was in Florence in April. It poured rain all day. I feel your pain. Yeah. You know, I was hoping to stroll around beautiful Genoa these past 2 days, but no, I got rained out. Yesterday I was able to see a little bit of Genoa, but another thing is, if you're visiting these smaller cities in Italy, that's not Rome, that's not Florence, Venice, or Milan, My top recommendation is do not concentrate your trip to these smaller cities on a Sunday nor a Monday. Because Sundays and Mondays, things are very quiet. A lot of stores are closed. A lot of restaurants are actually closed. A lot of bakeries and cafes are also closed. It's a bit quiet on Sundays and Mondays. So that's my top tip. Come to the small cities on any other day aside from Sunday or Monday. So from Tuesday to Saturday, you will be golden in these other cities that are not Naples, Rome, Milan, Florence, or Venice. So if you're going to Genoa or Arezzo or Orvieto or Verona, do come between Tuesday and Saturday. That's my top pro tip. Samuel with the $10 super chat. Samuel, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, man. That is so kind of you. Thank you so much. Hey, Murphy says I gave up on the rain. It was too rainy, so I ended up going to Rome early. Oh man, yeah, oh that sucks. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, it's sometimes a bit tough. You know, when it comes to travel now, I realize if you're traveling in the months of October and November, it might be more advisable to bring yourself a rain jacket and good boots so you can explore on the rain and still get soaked and not really feel too bad about it. Raynette, nice to see you here, Raynette. I'm so happy you're tuning in. Hope you and Mater are doing well. Villa Maggiore was a nice day, says Janice. Janice, you're probably referring to Rio Maggiore, which is in Cinque and yes, it was a nice day. Actually, really also got lucky that day. It was my one day of sun in this Genoa trip. Camilla says spaghetti al frutti di mare. So spaghetti with seafood is also really good here in Genoa, in Liguria. It's good to hear. You know, another thing I was hoping to do on this Monday was shop, because Italians are so stylish, men and women. And you know, sometimes in some countries it's more the women who are stylish and the men, you know, just try, not too hard. But here the men are really, really well dressed. And I was hoping to do some shopping, but nope. As evidenced by this store, a lot of the shopping is closed on Mondays. Hey, Murphy says, look at it this way. In Ireland, it rains 24/7. You know, Murphy, it's very interesting. I did travel through Ireland for a month, and I found the rain to be rather tolerable. And I think the reason for that is because I went expecting rain. And Ireland is about the rain, if you're a tourist at least. Like, that is the point of going to Ireland. So actually it was quite pleasant. And also, Ireland does not rain the entire day, at least most of the time. It kind of comes in and out. So you get bursts of sunshine throughout the day. At least from my experience of traveling through Ireland in October. That is not the case here in rainy Italy during October. It rains the entire day, just like New York. Murphy says, are you going anywhere else but Italy? Italy is the only thing in my itinerary thus far. No other plans for another country. So stay tuned, you'll see more Italy through mid-October. Martin says, 100% true. The local pesto in Genoa is beyond comprehension. The simplest recipes and foods like carbonara, margherita, pesto are all great. And they're just a few euro, yes. So that's another thing that will blow you away. I have eaten here in Italy quite a lot. I've had really big meals because I've indulged. I've felt lighter, more energetic, less bloated. For people who want to know too much information, I've had less gassiness. I have less heartburn being here in Italy for the past month. while eating some of the best, most delectable food and having 2 full meals per day, lunch and dinner, and a light sweet breakfast, which usually is a croissant. And I never felt better in my life in terms of food and eating. Mater says you need to be working, not playing on your phone, says Mater to his wife Ray. That's funny. Good morning, Lorraine. Hope you're doing well. So here's another quirk of Genoa, which I find so fascinating. I saw a little bit of this also in Verona, and also a little bit of this in Arezzo. So in Italian culture, I'm very kind of used to the cafes being like to-go places. The cafes aren't really places you would sit down. In Rome, Naples, or Milan. But here, it's just normal to have cafes with ample outdoor seating. They don't upcharge you like crazy. It's a reasonable price. You pretty much pay almost the same, if not €1 more, for sitting outside. So here's an example of a cafe where you can just buy your coffee, sit in one of the tables, and enjoy. Murphy says, so less processed food? Yes. Murphy, I'm glad you're tuning in. I'm glad a few Irish viewers are tuning in. I think the only other place so far I felt so well fed and healthy and just like everything really going down well is Ireland, actually. Yeah. Actually, I'm so excited. I'm excited to go to Ireland at some point again. But Ireland, and then a close third with. Susie says Americans are all bloated. They are. They are bloated. It is outstanding, the difference that I feel in Italy versus in America. I am like I'm like stunned. I am stunned. Like, I've been to Italy multiple times, but this time it has really sunk in. The major difference in how I feel eating in Italy on a daily basis than eating in New York City or any part of America or Canada for that matter on a daily basis. Massive difference. Camilla says, I've been to dining all summer and now fall is tempting me. You to be tempted by those things. It's like what is this? Luxury says we don't have real food in the U.S. Yeah, and it's a big shame. It's a big shame that we don't. Really is. I think the U.S. has beautiful cuisine that is adopted in other parts of the world well. And we have a lot of great local. Or you go to parts of California, you'll have great local foods. But we just, on a mass scale in supermarkets and most restaurants and definitely fast food, you just don't have the best quality food. I wish these clothing stores were open. A. Murphy says, I love your streams in Europe. You should move here for a while. I think I should. Wow. Look at that. Usually these stores don't like cameras, so I'm going to show it to you from the outside. Urban Adventure says, especially when you visit the southern U.S., there's too much fried and fast food. Suzy says, I'm sure I will de-bloat in Italy. I have de-bloated as well. One thing in Italy that has quite a striking difference is that there are indeed a lot of carbs in Italian food. So if you eat like most Italians, you will be indulging in at least 1 or 2 carb-heavy meals, which would be pasta. Or something involving some type of bread, like focaccia here in Genoa. But when I have these pasta dishes, and they're well portioned, so you're meant to eat your portion at the restaurant. It's not meant to be big enough so you can potentially take it away. No one really boxes their leftovers here in Italy. So that said, I felt really good every time I've eaten a pasta. I haven't felt bloated too many times. Very, very few times in Italy this past month eating a good pasta, and especially with cheese. Hello, Wendy. Nice to see you here. Luxury. Adam says, have you gained weight in Italy? Every time I travel Italy, I've been in Italy. First time it was in 2014 or so. Second time was 2019. I went live in Rome for 2 weeks. Third time was in 2021. I was here for nearly 2 months. And then now, nearly an entire month. Each time I've actually shed pounds in Italy. Murphy says, is Italy numero uno? Italy, in terms of tourism, is just spectacular. It truly is spectacular. If Italy had friendly, very, very friendly, easy to meet locals, then Italy would just be overpowered. But that's not the case. So Italy perspective is just unbeatable. It is amazing. Great food, great architecture, great history, especially in the major cities. Fantastic food, especially once you get out of the major cities, you'll have even more interesting food experiences. The only downside is that it's hard to meet Italians. It's hard to connect with Italians. Sure, you'll get friendly vibes depending on the area, but to really get to know the locals, you have to like spend quite a bit of time here and go and frequent places over and over again and know the language. But of course, the country can't have everything. So, and Italy is the best tourism experience. Would it be a place I would live for months on end? Probably not. I just don't connect with Italian culture on that deeper level in terms of everyday personal connection. For that, it's Greece or Ireland or even the UK. Danielle says, this is safe. Genoa, I felt very safe in Italy overall and safe in Genoa. Genoa, I can... Like, these little alleyways are a little bit, like... I would not walk through these alleyways late at night on my own. Not too much, at least. I have a little bit. But I just wouldn't, like, linger too much on these little alleyways that you see, because Genoa has, in the historic center, has these tiny little alleyways all around. But I felt safe overall in Genoa. Wait, Wendy says, is it raining over here? Yes, it is, Wendy. Yes, it is. The waiters in France are definitely not the friendliest bunch. They're very serious people and no nonsense in France, especially in Paris. But even outside Paris, you'll still get waiters that are pretty kind of serious. Italy, definitely a little bit more friendliness than France, for sure. Nelia says, is this a small town? Yes, it is a city. It's 550,000 people in the city proper, and a little bit more than 1 million in the larger metropolitan area. So it is a big city, for sure. So I'm wet. I'm wet in my pants. I'm wet in my socks. I'm wet in my sneakers. I'm wet in every direction. Those clothes up there are wet. Everything's wet here in Genoa today. Wow. I never heard of Italy being dangerous. Yeah, Italy feels very safe. Only place in Italy that I felt unease was hanging out in Palermo late at night, which is Sicily. Beach Bum, nice to see you here. Welcome, man. Susie says, oh, thank you so much for the wet light stream. My pleasure. I think Genoa is probably one of the better cities to walk around in the rain. So, pro tip, the buses and the trams, sorry, no trams, the buses and the metro and the funiculars here in Genoa are all under one ticket. It is free for locals, but if you are not a resident of the city, you do have to pay. There is a daily pass for $10, 10 euro. So it's a pretty good deal, and it's easy to get around the city using bus, metro, and funicular. Funicular is because there's higher parts of the city that are pretty steep to get to, so the funicular really, really helps. Adam says, have you visited the aquarium? No, I have not gone to the aquarium. Not yet. Urban says, wait, transit is free for locals? Yep, it appears to be the case. Double check when you're here, but that does indeed appear to be the case. So here we have one of the more impressive stretches of Genoa. Here we have some of the grandest palazzos. or palazzi. Wendy says, how about coffee to get you dry? I've had so far 5 shots of espresso. I think I could use 1 or 2 more, for sure. How did you spend your evening last night, says Wendy? I just strolled, bought some pizza, edited photos, posted on Instagram. Pro tip, follow me on Instagram, Urbanist Live. Urbanist Live is my Instagram handle. I post photos, I post extra short videos, I post Instagram stories where you get restaurant tips. And then I saw an episode of Only Murders in the Building, which is one of my favorite TV shows that's currently running. And then I went to sleep. Whoa. What is this? Sandro says you're at the Serna Museum. Ooh, cool, Sandro. Yeah, if you do see me in the streets, you feel free to say hi. I'm so glad you're tuning in. Wow. Stunning buildings over here. So glad I walked through this area. Now it's really pouring. I think I'm definitely gonna need some. Oh my god. Look at that. It's private, so I'm not gonna enter, but look at this square. Wow. Interior courtyard. That's stunning. Susie says, I thought you would have a more decorative umbrella. I want to blend in with the Italians. Hence, gotta mute the colors a little bit. Wow. Oh my. Janet says no church nearby. There's many. I haven't entered them yet. I entered a lot of churches in my first live stream of Genoa. So today it's a little bit less. Raining now. Ooh, a gelateria. Destructionist says, gosh, I love Italy. Sandro says, I work here now and love your tours in my city. Hey, Sandro, that's awesome to hear. Do let me know if you have any pro tips for Italy, for Genoa. Janet says, I'm talking about churches so you can get out of the rain for a while. No, I have committed myself to the rain, and in the rain I shall be. Wendy says cafe time. No, it's rain time. Mia says, this is awesome. I'm so glad you think so, Mia. So the great thing about Genoa is that there's a lot of cafes with ample seating, indoors and outdoors. So if it's raining, you can sit inside, hide away from the rain. Camilla says it's pouring over there. Oh my. Oh my. It's pouring in Cinque Terre. Helena says, to think Christopher Columbus walked this city. Christopher Columbus indeed walked this very city. He grew up here before he ventured over to Puerto Rico, into San Salvador, into the Dominican Republic and Española. I'm basically doing a reverse Christopher Columbus that came over from Puerto Rico to invade Italy. I mean, to visit Italy. Sandro says, I'm between the White Palace and the Red Palace. Oh. I like how the palaces are color coordinated. That's nice. Are we close to any of his haunts? Says Helena. That's a good question. The house museum that is called the House of Christopher Columbus is actually a replica of a place where he would have lived. I don't know if one would know, historically speaking, his hangouts, if he had much hangouts in Genoa. He probably hung out at some bar, but I'm not sure if those bars would be open still to this day. So that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think there's that many places where it's associated with Christopher Columbus. Susie says, I bet many artists have painted these streets. I bet that as well. For sure. Wow. Bellissimo. Camilla says, are you wandering or are you booking for something? No, I'm just wandering. About to finish this wander right here at the main street. Alright, here we have the main thoroughfare. What does it smell like in Genoa? It smells wet. That's the best way I can describe it. There's a certain wet smell to it. Nothing in particular. It smells like... It does smell like the sea, actually. A slight tinge of saltiness. A little bit of... just a little note of raw sewage. And a beautiful perfume of basil. That's how Genoa smells. It's really nice. So thank you everyone so much for tuning in. This was a rainy day stroll through Genoa. Stay tuned for more live videos of Italy. Hope you enjoyed it. Now I'm off to wander the tiny little streets of Genoa in search for a coffee. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Arrivederci, amici.